On the news, President Tinubu pays hospital visit to survivors of Yellowater attack, charges security agencies to track down criminals. President Tinubu flags off construction of new INEC Annex office. And the International Organization for Migration repatriates 183 Nigerian migrants from Libya. It's a pleasure to have you join us now on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Victoria Konde. Now, President Bola Tinubu has paid a condolence visit to Benue State, where he met with victims of the recent Yellowater massacre who are currently receiving treatment at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital. He condemned the attack, which claimed over 100 lives, and directed the service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police to urgently apprehend the perpetrators. While addressing stakeholders in Makadi, Tinubu emphasized the need for unity, tolerance and peace, while urging security and intelligence agencies to enhance coordination and gather actionable intelligence. The president also observed a moment of silence for the victims and announced the establishment of a ranch as part of long-term conflict resolution measures.
To me, let me apologize and salute all the traditional rulers present. Thank you very much for the honor of being here. But it would have been a better day to clink glasses and rejoice in progress. I've seen the people hospitalized. Governor, please announce in a broadcast for people to donate more blood voluntarily to the hospitals, and thank to those medical personnel. But for us in Nigeria, we have to find solutions to this. What's the cause of the conflict? I heard from Church Jesus about land grabbing. But if we learn how to share and how to accommodate, we have enough land to feed, to raise our children, to cultivate happiness and prosperity. We must do it. We will change that attitude of hate. We can. We sang through the national anthem. We said, though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. It must reflect in everything we do, in our character. In the economy, in sharing, in developing our people. Maybe part of the solution, NSA, as you are here, is to equally find a channel, a radio station for Benue, work with them, so that we keep talking to each other about tolerance, the capacity to build our family as one single family.
Now joining us to discuss this further is security expert Mike Ejiofor. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Now, the president is advocating for greater generosity in land sharing and proposed the establishment of ranches in Benue State as one of the solutions to the crisis. Now, as a security expert, do you see this as a practical and effective approach to addressing the underlying conflict?
Well, for me, it's a right way to go, and thumbs up for Mr. President, because if you trace our history, you notice that the herdsmen are not actually our problem. But if the president has directed ranches should be established to control their movement, they will be in a position to, in fact, know the people who are invading us. Because it's not the herdsmen that are invading the country and killing innocent people, invading communities, destroying lives and property. So I think it's the best way to go. The president must be commended for that. But this is not the first time we're hearing it. It's still true that it's followed up, with action by making sure that this measure is implemented.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. Now, sir, we've seen a growing push for community self-protection in response to the ongoing violence. First, from Representative Tessa Ugbo of the Kwande Federal Constituency, and also the Chief of Defense Staff suggested creation of some sort of community self-defense like vigilantes. So now, what's your take on this?
Again, without sounding immodest, I think it's the best way to go. The Chief of Defense Staff, has been consistent with the DG of SSS, of First Line of Defense. So we must defend ourselves. We can't fold our hands and watch this destroy our communities. But again, how do we defend ourselves against people who are armed with sophisticated weapons? So it comes to a point that I have been suggesting that Nigeria must establish state police. People have been arguing that it has its shortcomings. I agree it has its shortcomings, but the advantages far outweigh the disadvantages. So if the state police is established, they will be properly armed so that when these people are coming in, they know the environment, they know the terrain. Unlike the Nigerian police, that is not, it's too centralized for effectiveness in terms of policing our communities, especially the unmanned, on the ungoverned spaces. So I think the Chief of Defense Staff is spot on in his recommendation with the DGSS of First Line of Defense. We must also continue to defend our communities and make sure that we are protected. Because there's no way the federal government can provide sufficient men to man all the various communities. The police is not only understaffed, it's underfunded, and it is very ill-equipped to man the various challenges.
All right, no doubt collaborative efforts are critical to address these attacks. Security expert Mike Ejiofor, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. In a move aimed at bolstering Nigeria's electoral infrastructure, President Bola Tinubu has officially flagged off the construction of new annex building for the Independent National Electoral Commission. The groundbreaking ceremony held in Abuja marks a major step towards modernizing the electoral system and reinforcing the autonomy of key democratic institutions. TV360's correspondent Opayemi Owosheni completes this report.
Nearly 3 decades after its last major structural expansion, Nigeria's electoral umpire is now facing a critical space crunch. The current INEC headquarters, commissioned in 1997 to serve just 8 commissioners and 500 staff, now accommodate over 1,000 personnel spread across 22 departments and 13 full-time commissioners, far exceeding its intended capacity. Faced with congestion and operational strain, INEC has long sought structural relief, which has at last turned into action. At a symbolic ceremony in Abuja, President Tinubu flags off the construction of the new INEC Annex, describing it as a national milestone with a firm commitment to electoral integrity, institutional independence and democratic advancement.
The new headquarters is a clear signal of our unwavering support for INEC's autonomy, the capacity and growth. It will provide not just a home, conducive, but a hub for innovation, planning, training, and transparency in electoral administration. Our democracy is still evolving, and as it is growing, so too must the institution that support and protect it. We are committed to ensuring that INEC is fully equipped, not only in infrastructure, but in law, policy, and resources.
INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu reviews the new annex with our specialized facilities, including an election monitoring center and an electoral museum, designed to document Nigeria's democratic journey and engage future generations. He also thanked the FCT administration for supporting the project after years of infrastructure strain.
Beyond these facilities, the building has provision for a museum to serve as a repository for the physical and digital history of elections and electoral activities in Nigeria. This will afford citizens, particularly students, that regularly visit the Commission on Excursion, the opportunity to appreciate the evolution of our electoral history, as is the case in many jurisdictions around the world.
Also speaking, the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, assures the project will receive all it requires to ensure completion before the end of President Tinubu's first term.
And with the kind of support you've given to us, we'll make sure that the contractor delivers. I don't know where he comes from, but by the time he finishes, he'll be back. Because I'll make sure that he stays under the sun, under the rain, and justify the money that we are paying.
As construction gets underway, President Tinubu emphasizes that democracy is not a final destination, but an ongoing journey, one that depends on strong institutions, dedicated leadership, and sustained public trust. Okpeyemi Owosheni, TV360 News, Lagos.
Now moving on to other stories, Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Chairman of the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, has expressed deep concern over reports suggesting that all ECOWAS member states may be affected by a new wave of United States visa restrictions. Speaking at the opening of the 54th Ordinary Session of the Mediation and Security Council at the ministerial level in Abuja, Tuga warned that such restrictions could stifle efforts to deepen U.S.-West Africa relations, particularly at a time when the region is ripe for economic cooperation and security collaboration. While urging the United States to reconsider its approach, cautioning that the region has alternative options, the minister described the policy as a significant barrier to trade diplomacy and regional prosperity. He further expressed the readiness of the ECOWAS countries in doing deals with the United States, given the abundant critical minerals and even rare earths.
During the course of our meeting, this council will be presented with several important memoranda and reports covering political, security, and humanitarian matters. The Commission and its team will provide a comprehensive analysis of trends and developments in our political landscape, including the transition process in the Republic of Guinea, as well as updates on the preparations for presidential and primary elections in 2 of our member states at the last quarter of the year. Critical insights will be provided into current challenges, including developments in maritime security, terrorism, and transnational organized crime. The Council will also review essential elements in our efforts to ensure the operational readiness and sustainability of our peace support architecture with a view to consolidating our presence and improving impact on the ground. In the humanitarian and early warning domain, which are interconnected, this council will receive a comprehensive update of the early warning and response centers in our member states. These centers are essential components of our regional conflict prevention framework. As chair of this august body, as well as the Ministerial Council, I have introduced a regional partnership for democracy, RPD, in conjunction with the United Nations Development Programme. It is a strategic initiative designed to confront challenges of democratic governance by addressing factors undermining democracy in order to make sure democracy works and delivers for the peoples of West Africa.
In Lagos, 183 Nigerian migrants have just returned home from Libya thanks to a joint effort by the International Organization for Migration and its partners. The group, made up of 144 adults, 26 children and 13 infants, landed at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport's cargo terminal on Tuesday, June 17, and were received by officials of IOM and other government agencies. TV360's Simisola Adigun has details.
The voluntary return exercise is part of the IOM's Assisted Voluntary Return and Reintegration Program, aimed at providing a safe and dignified return process for migrants unable or unwilling to remain in the host or transit countries. Speaking about the program, the IOM Chief of Mission in Nigeria, Dimanche Sharon, and other officials affirmed commitment to collaborating with the Nigerian government to ensure the protection and safe arrival of stranded Nigerian migrants from Libya.
For me, this return, I don't just look at it as an ordinary charter flight, but it is one of those important steps into their safe return and dignified return back home, where we are looking at a new beginning, a renewed hope, a hope for a better home, a hope for a better livelihood, and where we can support together. As far as the assistance and the commitment from IOM, we are looking to ensure that we provide comprehensive, integrated reintegration support. What do I mean by that? I mean we look into the economic reintegration, where they're going to restart their lives all over again. They can become financially independent. They have livelihood opportunities, where those who have medical cases, you might have seen those, about 25 of them, will offer medical support. We will look into more on social and psychosocial support. Some of them might be having mental health, and we'll be looking into how we can support them with their mental health needs.
Of the world where they have been stranded. This is a collaborative effort between the Nigerian government and the International Organization for Migration. So this is something that is ongoing, and when they come back, of course, the government agency, the NCFRMI and other stakeholders are on ground to provide them with reintegration support.
Some of these migrants had been stuck in harsh conditions in Libya, where they faced detention, abuse, and a lack of basic services. They explained why they felt compelled to embark on the journey and their experiences in Libya.
For us, without papers, I went there illegally. It's very difficult because you can't get a job. You only work as a cleaner, caregiver. Difficult job. You get, and they pay very little. So it was difficult.
By the way, I leave Nigeria because I get financial collapse. So one of my friends in my neighbor is convincing me to leave the country. Maybe I can get better life. So I moved to Libya. I asked him how much is the money. He told me the money is 150,000 or 200,000. So I pay him the bills. We started our journey in the desert, hard, suffering, starving, you know. After I went to Libya, I'm just starting with insult, downgrading, embarrassing, doing whatever they like to us because we are blacks.
This effort is part of a larger campaign to offer alternatives to irregular migration and ensure that returnees get the support they need to rebuild their lives. More repatriation flights are expected in the coming months as Nigeria continues to work with international partners to bring stranded citizens back home. Simisola Adigun, TV 360 News.
It's time for a short break, but still to come on News Now. U.S. President Donald Trump says U.S. won't target Iran's supreme leader, at least not for now. Details right after this break. Welcome back. Now let's briefly take you through our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has paid a condolence visit to Benue State, where he met with the victims of the recent Yellowater massacre, who are currently receiving treatment at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital. He condemned the attack, which claimed over 100 lives, and directed the service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police to urgently apprehend the perpetrators. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and Havio TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on X, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we are at TV360 Online. It's now time for business news, and Opayami Owosheni is on standby. Over to you, Opayami.
Thank you, Victoria, and welcome to Business News. Now, in a bid to address long-standing issues of under-declaration, oil theft and revenue loss at export terminals, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has announced that exporters must now obtain an export permit, vessel clearance, and a unique identification number before any crude shipment can leave the country. The new directive, issued under the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Advanced Cargo Declaration Regulation of 2024, mandates the use of the Commission's online platforms for the processing of oil pre-shipment documentation. Now, this includes verifying the identity of exporters, confirming export volume, and embedding a UIN into every clearance notification to enable real-time tracking. We'll take a break now and be back with update from the stock markets. Welcome back. Now, it's the third trading day of the week, and the Nigerian exchange has bounced back from 2 consecutive days of losses, recording a notable gain of 1.95%. The market capitalization now stands at 73.69 trillion naira. Now, out of the 130 listed equities that participated in today's trading, 37 closed in the green, while 31 recorded losses. Now, NEM Insurance and Seplat emerged as the top gainers, driving the day's rebound. Now, in terms of trading activity, a total of 640 million shares were exchanged across 19,727 deals, amounting to a market value of 26 billion naira. Now, when compared to the previous trading session, today saw a 19% drop in volume, a 1% uptick in turnover, and a 15% decline in the number of deals. Now, moving on to the global scene, all selected stock posted gains as investors remain cautious, closely monitoring development in the Middle East, and also anticipating the United States Federal Reserve Reserve's upcoming interest rate decision, leaving all our global stocks in the bears. Now switching to the foreign exchange market, the Naira traded at 1,620 Naira to the dollar, 2,050 Naira to the pound sterling, and 1,720 Naira to the euro on the black market. And that's it on both business and stock market report. Back to you, Victoria, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Opeyemi, for that update. Now switching to the global scene, Nairobi's Central Business District was once again the scene for protest as citizens took to the streets to demand justice for slain teacher and blogger Albert Ojwang, calling for the resignation of Police Deputy Inspector General Eluid Lagat. The planned peaceful march was met with police intervention, who deployed tear gas to disperse the gathering crowd. Videos also show groups of young men seemingly working side by side with police, riding motorbikes armed with whips and clubs, attacking protesters. Police initially said that Ojwang died of self-inflicted wounds, but were forced to retract the statement after an autopsy found that it was likely he died after being assaulted. 2 policemen have been arrested in connection with the death. Still on the global scene, amid the Israel-Iran tensions, President Trump has revealed that the United States knows exactly where Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei is hiding, but is letting him leave for now. The U.S. president has so far stressed that his country is not getting involved in the conflict and has said that Iran could still take a deal to end its nuclear program that he had proposed before Israel's attacks. However, Trump has given mounting signals that Washington's intervention in some form may now be imminent. Finally, on sports, Team Nigeria Para-Athletics have won 15 medals at the ongoing WPA Grand Prix for Athletics in Tunis, the Tunisia capital, winning a total of 15 medals comprising 10 gold, 3 silver and 2 bronze. The competition has seen Nigerian athletes dominate various track and field categories. President of the Paralympic Committee Nigeria, Sunday Odebode, has commended the performance of the Team Nigeria para-athletes and assured of winning more medals as the tournament ends on Thursday. Still on sports, Manchester United will host Arsenal at Old Trafford in a blockbuster fixture on the opening of weekend of the 2025-2026 Premier League, which officially begins with a Friday night fixture. After finishing runners-up the past 3 seasons, Arsenal will look to better this campaign and will start their quest to end a 22-year title drought on Sunday, 17 August, as they have won only twice in the league in the last 18 years. United are currently the club with the best record in the Premier League on opening weekends. And that wraps up a bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for joining us. See you next time.